What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are league racing, this time for the actual race here in Russia, round number 4 for the ASR League Racing Championship on F1 2017. So heading into this race, I'm feeling the most confident I've ever been pace-wise. I've done like 2 practice races in the build-up to this, plus a career mode race here in Russia. So yeah, there should be no reason why I shouldn't be pretty competitive here. And in those practice races, I was very competitive up against New Zealand Ryan and Warden and all those guys. So it's going to be all down to me to make sure I qualify well today. But as you can see here, here's a first look at the standings. Ignore the colours. I'll sort that out properly later on in the day. But we sit P6, 20 points against our name. And yeah, with that, you know, very slow start to the season. Australia didn't go too well. China, you guys know what happened there, and we're pretty vocal about that. And then in Bahrain, well, there wasn't too much I could really do about that. Starting last place with a qualifying ban and no setup, I think I did pretty well in the end to get 5th place. But hopefully for us today, our championship can start here. In all honesty, we haven't really had a clear run of things, so to speak. So I wanted to give myself the best preparation possible to give myself the best chance. And so here we go with qualifying here for the Russian Grand Prix. We are going with, I think it was 10 kilos worth of fuel. Seems to be, you know, a trait that I always seem to do. I just want to get 2 laps in at the start of the session, just so that I have something to work with, and so I can attack at the end with a really good, solid lap. But the first lap we put in the books wasn't that great, 34.7. Ideally, I would have liked to have done a low 34 as a banker time at least, but we'll see what we can do on this second run now. On the second lap, sorry, on the same set of tyres. We were fueled up enough to get this second lap in, and so far we're going to improve by about 3-4 tenths, but we lose another tenth or 2 through the penultimate corner, and it's only a 2/10 improvement. So 134.5, it's an okay lap, but like I said, a few tenths slower than what I was ideally hoping for. But for the final few minutes of the session, we'll take out all the fuel, and we'll go out again for a real qualifying blast here. 50 seconds to go in the session, and hopefully we can get ourselves a mid-33. That's what I was doing in practice, and was pretty much on the pace of the front runners, so that's what I'm hoping to do again here today. So as you can see here, going through turns 2 and 3, they're really easy to cut or extend, so very important to actually get through there cleanly without losing your lap. Through here, the fast right-hander, 4th gear, nice exit through here. All these corners here, very similar, 4th or 5th gear, so very important to make sure you brake as late as you can, get on the power as early as you can as well. We go purple to the first sector, which is absolutely awesome. Exactly where we need to be. Going through the middle sector now, 5th gear, turn left now in 5th. A little bit hesitant through there. I was a little bit edgy as to whether I was going to cut there because I turned in a little bit too early, so that cost me a little bit of time, but nice exit onto the back straight with the DRS open. Max fuel mixture is flowing as well, and we're 4 tenths up on this time. So, I mean, we're there or thereabouts so far, only a 10th and a half down on the pole time set by Dominator, I believe it is so far, but hopefully we can continue to find more time in this 3rd sector where traction is really limited. Through here, 4th gear, a little bit bogged down in that gear, I'm not going to lie, but it does reduce the wheel spin. But going through to the penultimate corner now, using all the the entry space with the curbing to make this radius of the corner fairly nice, and then through the final corner, a little bit hesitant through there, not going to lie, but it was a 33.996, and it got me 7th place, 8th place. So a little bit nervous on that lap. Yeah, like I said, was hesitant here or there, and that was probably the difference in getting, what, 8th place, and probably would have been like inside the top 5. So yeah, qualifying again has not gone to plan. Even though the lap itself was really decent, I think it's just a testament to the guys who are in this league now. They're all so consistent, and they manage to bang in times week in, week out, where that's something that I still continue to, you know, allow it to be my weakness. So I'm just going to go flat out next week when it comes to qualifying. I'm sick of qualifying in a shit position. I want to be at the front, and I want to have a good chance of going for the race wins, but we'll see how we go for this race. 5 red lights for intermediate conditions at the Russian Grand Prix, and run away. Nice launch, it must be said. I intentionally put it in lean revs to minimize the wheel spin off the start. Now we'll chuck it up straight up into rich revs, and we'll see what we can do off this start. We've already got bombs to the win up the inside, and now we're going to go up the inside of I-Fens. And and that is P6. Really easy to lock up here or run into the back of someone, which we managed to hold on fairly nicely. Now we're going to see if we can get around Greek Master. We will get around Master Berserk on our inside, but the traction through here, it's very unstable, especially now that we're running with like 5-4 wings, I think it is. It's just a little bit of an imbalance because we're going for still a dry setup. It will dry out later in the race, but yeah, we're just going to have to deal with it in these opening laps where the car is going to be a little bit unstable. It's going to, you know, try and, or the rear end is going to try and overtake the front end, as Martin Brundle says sometimes, but yeah, ultimately just going to be down to us to make sure that we keep it clean, avoid lockups. It's so easy to lock up as well. You've just got to nurse the car so much to get it through these conditions. But we'll see how we go. Up the inside of Greek Master there. Wasn't really looking for an overtake there, but Greek was very cautious into that left-hander. So much so that we almost overtook him, or even lost our front wing, but thankfully we managed to avoid that. So lap 2, we've settled into things quite nicely. It looks like Greek is really struggling in these conditions. He's not kept touch with the leaders at all, and for me personally as well, I was taking this a bit cautiously myself. I wasn't really game to, you know, lunge it up the inside because I know how easy it is to lock a brake. We did so in career mode on the first lap, so I don't want to do that. It's really easy to throw away your race so easily. So I just wanted to hold out a little bit in these current conditions, and then once it starts drying up, that's when we'll push it a little bit more. But so far, our hesitancy has kind of put us in a vulnerable position now because Master Berserk is going up our inside into the final corner. This is exactly not what I wanted. But yeah, as we run side by side on the straight, we'll chuck it up into rich revs and hopefully maintain this position. This has been a bit of a learning experience for me now because I can't afford to just hold back and just chill. I need to get on with things, otherwise I will get overtaken. These guys are no pushovers in this league anymore. Like in past Australian leagues, the depth or the strength of the field, you know, hasn't been as strong. But these guys are really, really good. Siri, I didn't. Siri, shut up, Siri. Thank you. We're on lap 5 now, chasing down Warden. Not Warden, that's I saw his fastest lap, but Greek Master, we're chasing down him. He runs wide through the penultimate corner. Apologies about that. We dive up his inside. It's not really a dive, but we go up his inside, and that is us up in a P4. So now we are free in this race to get on with it and see what our pace is like versus the leaders. But as soon as we got into P4 and overtook Greek, there was a huge glitch that like affected the whole lobby. Literally everyone disconnected from each other, and we were all racing in what was essentially a time trial. So annoying. So annoying to like get through the start phase cleanly, to overtake Greek and everyone around me, then to get that free track position, that clear air, and then to start making progress on the leaders. That happened. So yeah, we had to do a whole restart, and we had to do the custom grid to make sure that everyone was in their original grid positions. But now with the restart, we have a dry race this time, so I'm actually going to rate my chances a little bit better in this one. So as long as we can get through the first lap cleanly, we should be out for a good outing today. But here we go, ready for the start of this race. Again, lean revs to make sure we minimize the wheel spin off the start. 5 red lights, and away we go for the Russian Grand Prix. Take number 2. Looks like Greek Master has got off to a little slow start there, and we're going to slide up his inside, heading into turn 1. It gives us the squeeze. Absolutely huge squeeze there. And now we see our race end. That's our race over. Front wing loss before we even get to the first proper corner. And it's not even Greek Master's fault. Probably a little bit my fault, being that eager. But we'll bring up a replay in a second. We've lost our front wing, and now we've got it all to do in this league race. I think Harry Ryan has some front wing damage. I believe Fitcho as well got front wing damage. There was cars going upside down as well. I don't know what that start was, but yeah, it's so typical. The race where we have, you know, arguably the pace to win is the one where we get shafted on the first lap. So into the pits now, we'll dive on and get a set of super soft tyres on, and possibly run these until the end of the race, maybe till the end of the rain period. We'll have to wait and see. If the tyre wear is too bad, then we will probably switch to the ultra soft tyres around lap, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, something like that, and make the most of those tyres to the end of the race. Hopefully there's a safety car or something like that that would get us in the game, but at this stage we are completely out of it. Here's a replay of Greekmaster's start. Yeah, looking up against the others around him, I mean, it was an okay start. Maybe it was just me getting off to an absolute blinder. I tried to make the most of that going for the gap, but I don't know if Greek initially saw me on the inside, and then all the carnage ensued there that resulted in that pretty massive pile-up. So, yeah, it actually wasn't Greekmaster, like, squeezing into me that resulted in the front wing loss. Greek actually touched alongside with Quicksilver, and that sent him back into our path and created that massive crash. Now, here's Brock Does Stuff, POV. This is the most insane POV to show this crash, because everything happened around him. Literally everything. Cars were going upside down and hitting him, and he actually got through there without any front wing damage, which is quite remarkable. He avoids my car, which goes. Then there's the Red Bull right in front of him. He gets millimeter close to running into him. Then Greekmaster is sideways and flipping over the top of him, with the front wing of mine also flipping through the air as well. He avoids that, and his car is perfectly fine. That was unbelievable that he managed to get through there. And here's my replay of the start once again, just to show you guys. I'll slow it down as well. We go for the gap here, and I don't think Greek really realized I was there. We actually get through here fine. This is all fine, and then Greek moves to the left, touches Quicksilver, and then that ricochets him back into my path, and we end up in the barriers. Very lucky to still be in the race, mind you, but that doesn't make the pain any less for us. Here's a replay of AOR Charlie. I'm sorry about all the replays, but I think it's pretty you know, interesting to show you guys what actually happens in these races. There's a big lag spike for everyone on Charlie's screen. That spooks him, and then he goes on the grass, spins out, and that was a pretty eventful first corner, it must be said. So we rejoin in the race now after our pit stop. We've got Fitcho right in front of us, a few seconds up the road. Harry Ryan 6 or 7 seconds back, and then Greekmaster in last place. So there's a lot to do. To even get in the points today. Luckily, it is a one-stop, but we're going to be heavily compromised on tyre wear and possibly fuel as well, because we're going to be pushing right to the end. I think my only chance here is to push now, kind of get an undercut, if that kind of makes sense, in clear air. So we need to clear Fitcho early, get him out of the way, and just take the race from there and minimize any kind of mistakes or penalties we may get, because it's so easy to corner cut here. Up the inside into turn 2. Really eager move there, because I wanted to get on with it, and Fitcho was really slow, and I know that when I battle Fitcho, he likes to draw out the battle. He likes to have race-long battles. I'm not all about that today. I am absolutely not getting involved in a squabble right now. I am not racing you. I'm absolutely not racing you. My goal is to get back in the points, and if we squabble, which he wants to do right now, we're not going to get any better than what position we're in now. So I was pretty heated, pretty hot under the collar, even though Fitcho was in the party. He was saying, do you want me to let you go if I give you my YouTube channel or something like that? I didn't hear him. I was busy concentrating and trying to overtake him. We got the inside into turns 2 and 3, and now it's going to be a side-by-side affair. We haven't been this close to each other since Malaysia Season 2, and we know how that kind of worked out. But we got the inside into the right-hander, and at this point it's just a bit silly. I'm clearly faster than him, and if he just sticks behind and just follows me, then we could possibly both get a good result. But there we go, we get up the inside, and that is us up in a 14th place. So in the end, I think logic prevails, and now hopefully Fitcho can follow me through, and we can get a good result. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Fitcho needs to practice more. His pace has really dropped off in season 3. He was a championship contender last season, and now he just rocks up and, yeah, doesn't practice. That's why, as well, I didn't want to get held up behind him, because I knew he was a little bit slow. But as you can see here, this is the consistency of us in clear air for the rest of the race, just in the low 38s, literally within a quarter of a second of my fastest time, just about every single time. There was the odd lap where I made a small mistake. It was like 5 or 6 tenths slower than my best, but overall, the consistency was amazing, and we've made it to lap 18 without getting any warnings. believe it or not. I think we get our first warning on like lap 19 or 20 when we try and chase down Brock Does Stuff, who has recently came out of the pits about 5 laps ago. So yeah, it's been a massive grind this race. There's 7 laps to go now. We got the inside of Brock Does Stuff into the fast right-hander. We might have to leave him space on the outside. He holds it around there, and he might overtake me into the next left-hander. No, he doesn't. That's 10th place. And finally, after 20 laps of green flag running here in Russia, we're in the points. But Brock has another little go into the 3rd sector. I get a poor exit there, and he might go back up my inside into this next left-hander. He does. He's lagging all over the place, and I was fearing for my front wing there. I didn't know if he was going to lag and just punt me into the wall or anything like that, but in the end we managed to survive, and we can carry on with our race. Tyre wear is getting really bad now. Anytime he gets anywhere near 50%, the tyres really start to go off, and you're a lot slower than what you were, you know, anything below 50%. But somehow we're still setting personal best into the 1st sector split, which I really found surprising. But now we've got Poms for the win for company. He's recently put on a set of ultra soft tyres, so he's a lot faster than what I am at the moment. I didn't really want to fight it too much because, like I said, I don't have any penalties, and I'm counting on the guys in front of me, even like Poms having a penalty, and maybe even a few people up the road having penalties. So I thought it's probably best if I just let him go, follow him through, and complete the fastest race I possibly can. No point, you know, squabbling and costing us both time, especially when I know that I can gain a few positions due to penalties for the guys up ahead. So hopefully there's a little bit to be gained as well by taking that strategy, and we can get well inside the top 10, depending on how many, you know, penalties the guys up ahead have. But this is Greekmaster, just a replay earlier on in the race. Got a time penalty, and I think he just gave up at that point because he was actually meant to go on the supers at the start of the race like I was, but his team put on the ultras, and that resulted in him having to do an extra stop on top of the one he already did. So yeah, he was well out of contention there after that moment. So we're going to another battle as well. This is Warden chasing down my teammate New Zealand Ryan, who was on the super soft tyres, the only one who was at the front of the field trying to maintain that strategy. But Warden there gets overtaken by Dominator, a bit forceful into the penultimate corner. We'll see on board from his POV. I don't know if this is lag a little bit because he just turns into his line in the braking zone and shoves him a little bit wide, but either way, that is a little bit interesting. There might be a little steward's inquiry pending that little incident there, but as we carry on to the next lap, this is Dominator freshly into 2nd place. Now has to go at New Zealand Ryan on the super soft tyres, and New Zealand Ryan has to go defensive into the fast right-hander. He's got Warden up his inside too as well. Incredible pressure to try and withhold there, but he manages to keep them all at bay and hold on to the lead of the Russian Grand Prix. That was amazing from Ryan. Like I said, he started on the ultras and had to finish on the supers, whereas the other two behind him started on supers and they're finishing on ultras. So they've got mega pace at the dying laps of this race, and somehow Ryan is actually going to hold on to the win here as he goes to the final corner. He takes the victory on track, but due to penalties, finishes in 2nd. So that undoes what was a really awesome drive there, and he may still get the win depending on how the stewards deem that incident with Dominator and Warden into the penultimate corner. But for us though, it's going to be P11, potentially something higher. It's only P10 as we cross the line. So despite running a perfectly clean race with 0 penalties, it only moves us up 1 place. So that just shows how far away from, you know, the guys in front we were. I mean, Charlie wasn't too far ahead. He was, I don't know, 10 seconds ahead. Same too with Chimchar. So yeah, they mustn't have had too many penalties either themselves. And as we see here, this is the rain really starting to affect the guys who are still out on track. The DRS has been disabled. Fitcho has had a crash, lost his front wing, and he's just 3 corners from home. Loses the back end, and he is out and never gets to finish the race in the end there. So yeah, a DNF for Fitcho. For us though, it looks like it's only going to be 1 point, pending any penalties. If there's any to be gained there, then I guess that helps, but that is a very disappointing way to end this race, considering how much time I put into practicing and how competitive I was up against my teammate and Warden and Greekmaster, all those guys. But in the end, we have nothing to show for it, only 10th place. But there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And see plenty more F1 2017 videos. In the end, we were the only person in the field to not get a penalty. So at least I can take that away. It must be said though, after lap 1, this was probably the best race I drove. Like, I was so consistent. I didn't get any penalties. I was very disciplined, and I managed to look after the tyres right through to the end. So in terms of everyone else who pitted on the first lap, we destroyed all of those guys. None of them were anywhere near us, but we didn't have much to fight against the others, considering we had our tyres on for the entire race. So, I mean, looking at the positives, we drove an incredible race, given the circumstances, but only 1 point to show for it. Hopefully, we can show a little bit more promise in the next race, the Spanish Grand Prix. After that, we have Monaco, and I don't need to explain my aspirations for that racetrack, but we'll see how we go. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully the luck turns soon, and I'll see you next time.